Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how easy it is to paint simple daisy petals and how you can combine them all to make a flower with leaves as well if you want. The brushes we're going to use, or the brush we're going to use, is either a filbert, which is one here where it's flat at the ferrule edge of the brush but curved on the top. They're the easiest brush to use because you've already got the shape of the petal at the top here. Alright, the other option is a round brush, and a round brush is depicted by the fact that it's round here at the ferrule edge. Okay, so I'm going to be using a filbert today, or an oval wash. It depends how long the hairs are, whether it's defined as a wash brush or a filbert. But like I say, you can use either. You'll just need to have the brush more upright if it's a round brush to get the hairs to spread out. Okay, so to start with, I've got a piece of black card just because the white petals will show up really well on here, and it's quite good to practice on. The first thing you need to do is either trace on a flower shape, or a simple way of doing it is to do a circle like so. Okay, and then I generally just put some curved lines coming through the middle like so. Okay, and you can add as many as you like. You don't have to actually paint all these lines when it comes to it, but they're sort of there as a guide, all right, for placement. Okay, so we'll start with that one first. Now, the paints I'm using are acrylics. I use the Jo Sonja brand, which are very good quality paints. I actually learnt or started decorative painting and art when I was living in Australia, and this was a brand that was very popular out there. Okay, you can get this in the UK, so I would recommend it, but when you're doing any stroke work, you need the paint to be the right consistency. It's the most important part. So what I tend to do, because these are good quality paints, they come out, you know, quite thick. They're not really thick, but they sort of hold their own. So I put a couple of drops of Flow Medium. This is Jo Sonja Flow Medium in. All right, just a couple of drops into the colour, into the white. Okay, and then use the handle of a brush just to stir it in. And what this does is it breaks down the binding agent that is put in the paint to pull all the colours and hold them together, or the pigments together I should say. Obviously the cheaper the paint, the runnier it is, and often the more binding agent has been put in and less pigment, because it's the pigment that costs the money. So in cheaper paints very often you'll have, your colours won't be as vibrant. So you get what you pay for, as always. Okay, so take my brush, wet it and just dab it a bit dry. Okay, now loading. Hopefully you can see this. So you pick up your paint on your brush, all right, a relative amount of paint, all right, you don't want it absolutely flooded, but you're trying to avoid the paint getting into the ferrule edge here, all right, because that's where damage occurs when acrylic's dry in there, if you don't get it all out. So try and avoid getting it in there too much. Okay, and I'll just show you next to the sort of bit of chalking I've done there for the flower. What you need to do is have your little finger, if you can, to support you, excuse me, your handle quite upright, okay, because if your handle is upright, you have the best control with the brush, all right. What we're going to do is we're going to get the brush to move down the paper without my hand moving. So let me show you. So I've got my little finger supporting, this part of my hand resting as well. I've loaded my brush and it's relatively upright, the handle. Okay, and we lay it down. And then all I'm going to do to start with is just do that. I'm just bringing the handle over. All right, so I'll reload again and show you. So I pop the hairs down, and I just literally pull the brush towards me and just keep going as far as I can. And can you see that shape? So that's your sort of basic petal shape, all right? So let's do a few more. So down, no twisting or anything at this point, just do this over and over again and you'll get that sort of petal teardrop shape. So once you've cracked that and you feel, yep, that's looking quite good, I've got the sort of technique, I want you to try and put a twist in. So now what I'm going to do, I'll turn it around so it's easier for you to see. I'm now going to go down as before, and then if you're right-handed you'll find it easiest to push your thumb forward a little bit and just turn a quarter turn, so you're now much finer with the brush hardly touching the paper. Can you see? I'll try and zoom in if I can, that might make it easier for you. Okay, let's see if I can show you this a bit better now. Okay, so I lay it down, hairs are spreading out a little bit, handle's quite upright, almost fully upright, and then after the initial pressing on the paper I start to lift straight away, so I'm lifting away from the paper a little bit and I'm just starting to push my thumb forward and twist slightly, bring the hairs round, keeping in contact with the paper but gradually lifting until in the end I've turned from this way with the brush to this way. Okay, so it's only a quarter turn, alright, but that is enough to make the end of the petal, or the, the end of it as you finish, quite fine. Okay, so if you're left-handed you would find it easier to pull your thumb that way, so twist to the left. Right-handed you'll find it easier to push your thumb forward and twist to the right. Okay, so we go to our flower, load up some more paint again. Okay, now when you're doing one of these flowers, alright, you need to make sure that you don't paint each petal going round in order, because what will happen is when you then get back round to the beginning and look at it, it'll look a bit like a propeller on a plane, because each one will be slightly curved just the way you're holding the brush and doing it, and it won't look right. So it's always best to do sort of top, bottom and left and right, and then fill in. So here I've got this, I've done these slightly curved, these lines. Alright, so if I put this one on, so we lay it down, twist and lift and come into the circle, and then you can lift off. Turn your card round, and the one that's opposite is here, so lay it down. Oh, sorry, I'm slightly out of shot here. There we go. Okay. So lay it down, twist and lift off. So you're finishing inside the circle. Again, another quarter turn and do one over here. So down, twist and lift off. And then to the final side. Okay, just making sure you're in shot because I've zoomed in. Okay, so down, twist and lift off. Okay, so it's gone a little bit short. I'm going to make that one slightly longer. Just start it there and lift off, so that's better. Okay, and then what you can do is go round and fill in the ones in between. So even though I've got a couple of lines here, I'm most probably just going to do one because I've got quite a big brush. This is a 3/8 of an inch oval wash brush. Okay, so we can do one here, twist and lift in, turn it around, twist and lift in, and it doesn't matter if they come out slightly different, it makes it more special. You know, flowers aren't perfect when they're growing anyway, so I always like it if it's slightly different anyway. So there you go, you can see it coming. And then the last one I'm going to add in this gap here. Like so. Okay, so there you got it, definitely a flower. Alright, now what you can do then is, rather than have any sort of ridges of paint, if you've got any, so you can sort of just spread these out a little bit, because you can see your chalk line that we first put on. So we can make a centre for the flower now before it dries. It's not going to be this colour, but we're just sort of spreading it out. Okay, so So there you have it. All right, there's your daisy. And what you can do with your chalk pencil as well, if you wanted to, you can have a line coming down for your stalk, and then if you do sort of, I don't know if you can see that, 2 leaves coming off, and they can be the same stroke. That's the beauty of learning this stroke and sort of mastering it. You can use it for so many things. All right, so we turn it upside down because the biggest part of the leaf would be at the stalk. So we lay it down there and we twist and lift and come off. And then we come over to this side and you see, twist and lift and come off. Okay, so there you've got your flower. Now obviously if you've got a finer brush you can paint your stalk. Just washing my brush there. So let's grab a liner brush. So there you go. Oh, let's get it into view. Okay, mid-length liner, so not too short, not too long. It's one of my favourites. And you're doing more or less the same thing with your with the brush. Handle upright, okay, and then literally come all the way down, and there you have it. All right, and you can sort of, it can always come from the top on that one. There we go. All right, now for the centres, what I generally do, I just dry that centre very quickly. Okay, now for the centres you can just use a different colour. Alright, so I've got here, it's a bit of, I think it's amethyst and diox purple in the Jo Sonja range. This doesn't need to be loosened down at all. You're not actually doing a stroke, you're just filling in. Alright, and you can literally just fill that in. And what I tend to do is, if I'm painting these onto something, so for flowers, I did my granddaughter's dressing table and I painted it in like a lilac colour, and then I put some daisies on it. I think there's a picture on my website, maybe on the gallery. I tend to paint the centres the same colour as the background, so because the dressing table was a lilac colour, I did a lilac sort of purple, whatever shade you want to call it, centre. And then it pulls the whole design together. It really works as a whole. I haven't done a very good circle there. Or shape, that'll do. There we go, you'll get the idea. Okay. Just dry that. Okay, and then what you can do, keeping it really simple still, all right, you can just add some dots. Now you can use the handle of your brush, all right, take them into your white. Okay, so I've got some white on the end of my brush. Okay, and then you can literally press them down and add little dots like this. And it's amazing how just something so simple can make such a difference. Now because this flower is facing us, we can go all the way around with them. All different sizes, quite random. Okay, so that's a really simple daisy. All right, for you to try at home. If you wanted to try loading 2 different colours on your brush so that your petals weren't pure white, here's some I did the other evening in class with some of my students, and you can see here, look, we've got 2 different colours or 3 different colours going on, but they're all individual ones with white. Okay, all you need to do is load in the white, So just as we were doing before. So we're loading the brush in the white and then tip load, so you're just picking it up on the tip into your other colour, alright? And I'll show you how that comes out. So exactly the same as we were doing with the stroke, alright? And so you lay it down and twist and pull, and you'll see, because you're just loading on the tip, I don't know if you can see that, you get a variation with the colour. I'll try again to see if I can get it a bit stronger for you so you can see. So that's probably fine, but it's not clear for me on the screen here how good it is for you. Okay, so handle upright, down, twist and go, and you can see there you get two colours coming out. Alright, so very, very simple daisy this. Rather nice. We'll just, I think it's nice to have some purple dots here and there as well to finish it off. Okay, thanks for watching. Hope you join me again soon.